39-36. While Judge Barbara Perez has it 39-37. All for the winner by unanimous decision, the crown jewel.
You know it's AB, always balling, always boarding, a lot of bills. You know what's going on, man. You know, shout out to Crown Jewels Boxing, man. You know, my people. You know, they get it in over there, straight up.
Lamar Peterson giving a shout out to CrownJewelBoxing.com.
What's good, YouTube? Crown Jewel from Crown Jewel Boxing, back with a gem. Bill Haney just continues to put gasoline on the fire. I saw live today on Fight Hype with him and Floyd, and Floyd's trying to be reasonable. Actually sounded like the adult in the room, trying to ask, where did we go wrong? Why do we have a problem? Why are we just, why the disrespect? And Bill answered that by being more disrespectful. He kind of slid in at some point. I'm just talking, I'm just doing what I do. You pop yours, I'm popping mine type. But, Floyd's like, yeah, but what's with the disrespect? And Floyd's talking boxing. Bill's talking streets. Which, I read his case. I don't understand the whole street thing. But I just don't get it. 50, 60-year-old man talking street stuff when he's transcended and he's a businessman, right? A boxing promoter, manager, trainer. His son was a world champion. And then, he went into basically, tearing Floyd, not basically, blatantly tearing Floyd down. And, that 50-0 don't mean nothing. Now, being undefeated don't mean nothing now that your son has lost, huh? You know what I mean? Which I said, I'm one to say, it's all right to take a loss. It happens. But he made a career out of, magnifying the fact that his son was young and undisputed, undefeated. And now boxing don't mean nothing. Floyd's accomplishments don't mean nothing. Floyd don't have no thorough people in the street around him. And Floyd's not a street dude. Now this is the argument. Classic case of maybe like a kid level thinking person's having a rant when things are going their way. When all else fails, if I'm losing the debate, I'll just say I'm more street than you. I'm more messed up than you. I'm more ghetto. I'm more hood than you. That is such dysfunction. Like, at what point, as a grown-ass man, are we going to stop trying to validate ourselves by saying we're street? I don't think it works for anybody, but I accept it from teenagers, 20-somethings. But 50-plus-year-old men trying to talk about how much clout they got in the street, if you don't grow up and conduct yourself like an adult, then you start talking about what the man ain't doing for his adult kids, and his kids should be able to do whatever they want to do. And I get what Floyd said, because I have adult children. There comes a time where they don't listen. And if you don't need my guidance and you can't listen to me and I can't talk to you and, guide your steps, then you don't need my money. Because children, you're required to take care of children. And children are also required to live within your guidelines. But adults can do as they please. So adults can take care of themselves. That's where some people get it twisted. But I think it just was a matter of he couldn't win a boxing debate. He couldn't justify his disrespect. He couldn't intelligently, speak his point. So he had to go to ignorance and start talking about how street he is and how street Floyd is not. And I thought Floyd handled himself well. He said, listen, I learned from my dad that the streets wasn't the way. And I thought you got away from the streets, and got your son into boxing so that you can leave the streets. But when things aren't going your way, you want to go back and talk about how street you are? Again, people say, why you keep talking about them? Why do they give you so much to talk about? Why such dysfunction? Why not just be gracious in defeat, show some humility, because you had no problem berating people, being braggadocious and talking trash when you was on the opposite side of the L. Now that you caught the L, you want people to shut up and allow you to be. Nah, you got to deal with the same talk that you was given. Like your son said, if you're going to dish it out, you got to be able to take it. And listen, I don't care how many tennis videos you put up. I don't care how much you talk about how boxing doesn't mean anything now. Boxing is why you're where you're at right now. It's why you can put your kids in tennis. It's why you can live the lifestyle you live. And just because you had a bad night, don't try to turn your back or change the narrative off of what was your narrative. 99.9% of the time, a camera was in your face. I never heard you speak on anything but boxing when you were on these channels prior to taking that L. And now boxing don't mean nothing. Being undefeated don't mean nothing. Come on, man. Let's be adults. Let's be adults. Your son, hell of a young fighter, accomplished a whole hell of a lot, but he gets judged harshly for these type of very acts that you commit. You say, you act like this is defend your son, but you wouldn't have to defend your son if you wasn't out front, offending people the way you do. Coming at people the way you do. Berating, disrespecting fighters the way you do. You know what I mean? I like what Floyd said about Adrian Broner. What did Adrian Broner do to earn the disrespect that you gave him? Give his honest opinion on what happened in sparring or his recollection because he was there? Then you want to go online and call him. And that's another thing. Either you want to prove how street you are, or you want to measure how much more money you have than the person that you're debating with. You can never stay on task. It's never about whatever the situation is. It's just, if I'm losing, if all else fails, I'm more respected in the streets and I got more money. That's juvenile, man. This ain't high school. We have to grow as men. If our 50 and 60-year-old men are still speaking like this, we in trouble. We in trouble. I don't see any other race of people, elderly men speaking like this. At some point, we got to be honest. Be honest with our elder statesmen and say, listen, man, this ain't cool. In y'all terms, we ain't jacking that. Grow up. Conduct yourself like a professional. Conduct yourself like the middle-aged man you are. Be proud of your son. You know what I mean? Lay low, regroup, and come back better. But trying to defame everybody else because you guys had a hiccup in your career, what's that about? That's all I got for y'all right now. But until next time, keep your hands up, your chin down, your ass off the floor. Peace.